Hello, I'm David D. Hilser. I'm a critical thinker, dissident scientist, and I'm here to tell you the truth about science, something your university professors won't tell you, the mass media won't tell you, and certainly those science evangelists won't tell you. Well, once a year, everybody outside mainstream goes into a deep depression when they come out with the Nobel Prize. Why is that? Well, it's really frustrating for us to see Nobel Prizes given to things that we know are coming, we know are set up, we know that maybe even in fact wrong, but it's inevitable. The good example is the Higgs boson. Higgs boson, they predicted, they built $1 billion machine. They had two teams who could not fail in finding them in two different ways to verify them. They, of course, then found it, and almost immediately after, the person won the Nobel Prize. Well, the same thing's happening with the LIGO detector for gravitational waves. Now, you can say, well, no, that one's true. Well, let me tell you why we don't know the real answer for that. And that is because we don't have a physical model for light. We don't have a physical model for gravity. We don't have a physical model for all the things that are detecting it and how they interact. Some of us do. Some of us outside the mainstream have those things. But we have mainstream science who really has almost no model, the standard model, no model. The light's a wave, light's a particle. Gravity's now waving, but gravity isn't a particle. They call it it's space time. They don't know, and so we have. If you ask me, did they detect gravity waves? I'm going to say, do they know what gravity is? And if they don't, how can they claim to detect them in waves? Are they detecting something? Something's happening. But until you have a model and you understand these things, this is a house of cards built on top of each other. But it doesn't matter. There's still pure frustration. This time of year, I want to shoot myself in the head and say, is it all worth it? And of course, they're always pushing relativity. They're big man. Look at here on the website. Here you have, and that is who are the most popular Nobel laureates? Laureates? Albert Einstein. Well, it turns out that when my mom, for our movie, uh, was given, I gave her 50 universities to call, and she was supposed to call up and find people specializing in relativity. She found none. In fact, go onto university pages and see if people make their careers out of relativity. There is one, and I've always said that. And who is that? Well, it's Kip Thorne, and there he is. He gets a fourth of the Nobel Prize. Is that like a fourth spin or a fourth charge? Sorry, couldn't resist. And if you look at his biography, in fact, on the homepage at Caltech, Thorne's research has focused on gravitational physics and astrophysics, with emphasis on relativistic stars, black holes, so that'd be relativistic black holes, and relativistic gravitational waves. So he is probably the only person on the planet right now who can sort of claim to make a living off of relativity. So if no one's even specializing in it, why is it the most popular? Because it's not a science vote. It's not a contribution to science vote. This is all politics, popularity, and egos. And money, 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 money. That's what they care about. And if we look at Kip Thorne, and we look at Albert Einstein, and we see there are no experts. You can also see what's happening even before the university level in my film, EinsteinWrong.com, Einstein Wrong, The Miracle Year. You can go and watch it for free. Look at one of my videos, and I will tell you for when I pass 10,000 views, go there, you can watch it for free. I still have a few left. But what happened is I gave my mom that list, and I already said that. The second part of that in the film is that when I talked with the professor, the physics professor at Long Beach Poly, where they have some of the brightest students in that area who are going to big name schools, well, he said, well, we don't teach the chapter, the 46 pages on relativity in our advanced physics books. I go, really? Why not? He says, no, it doesn't interest anybody, doesn't float their boat, doesn't stimulate anybody's thoughts. Or the truth of the matter is it's useless. No one uses it. GPS doesn't use it. We know that. If you've been following me, we know that. We know that general relativity isn't observed where it should be. Dr. Ed Dowdy, why isn't he getting the Nobel Prize? So we can see that they don't teach it in high school, they teach it in college, and no one specializes in it. And yet there's Mr. Albert Einstein standing on the top. And of course, we're going to reinforce all this with, of course, Kip Thorne, because we throw that little bit of taste of relativity because, is it the case that we are in fact worried in the Nobel Prize Committee that there's some pushback against these kinds of things? I don't know. That would be so. What do we do? What do we as critical thinkers do when this comes over and it hits us on the head and we know this is all a game and we don't know? We know that in fact what it says at the very top here, and I'll zoom in on it. See if I can do that. Oops, it doesn't zoom the banner. Oh well. Let's see if I can do it this way then. There we go. Let's get that down there. And now you can see it. Basically, what do we have? We have for the greatest benefit to mankind. Well, we dissident scientists know, we critical thinkers often know that these have nothing to do with the benefiting of mankind. We know that they are set up, that a lot of times these things are just people setting up on their house of cards, all these things, scientifically a house of cards, but to the public it looks all wonderful, and we found this, and now we have these new detectors, and we're going to blah, 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 blah. It's frustrating. You want to, I certainly do. So what do? Well, Dr. Alexander Unsecker, one of the champions of critically thinking about things, who says throw away particle physics, and he wrote the Higgs fake, which of course got a Nobel Prize. If the Higgs are fake, why do they give Nobel Prizes for fake made-up particles? We can sort of feel solace in that. But he said one very important thing, and I'm going to add a few more to that. He said, keep on working. Don't stop. Don't worry about this. This is what happens in a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift, you have bizarro things happening, bizarro particles with bizarro language, with bizarro logic, with bizarro math and double talk and politics and egos and laughing at any criticism instead of facing criticism like critical thinkers. So he says, keep on working. I'm going to add a cue. If on your own, you're not necessarily even going to get support from the dissidents around you, the critical thinkers around you. But that's where I say we do have a chance, and that is we need to stick together like we do in the CMPS. I'm not an ether person, but I think about ether, and I help people with the ether theories, and that is light is going through a medium. I'm a particle person. My dad and I have a different model, but we need to help each other. We need to stay together. We have to understand that there are more than one idea for the universe and how it works. And supporting each other is very, 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 very important. And it's really, really important too for us finally to try to cultivate other critical thinkers. That's what I'm trying to do with this YouTube channel. It is I call it dissident science, but in reality, as I say, critical thinking is what I'm trying to get everybody to do. Because if you do that, then you'll see the folly in the Higgs particle, Higgs boson. You'll see the folly in the LIGO experiment, not because they may have detected something, maybe they don't have a model. So how can they say they've detected anything when they don't understand anything? So we want to stick ahead, go ahead, keep working, keep on working. Number two, support each other, come together, support each other's ideas, even if they're in conflict, because that's the only way we're going to solve this, is to put all the ideas out there, and maybe one will stick, maybe a couple will stick, who knows? Maybe we'll have several models that work very well in different ways. And of course, we need to support each other and finally cultivate these critical thinkers. So I know, folks, I get frustrated by this too. In fact, I was really debating on whether to make this at all. But I said, no, I have to make it and try to at least give you some of my perspective of having to go through decades of this. I remember in 95 or 96 when they gave the Nobel Prize for the neutrino. Neutrino doesn't exist. They get a Nobel Prize. We wrote something to the Nobel Committee, sent it to, no one's going to listen. It's frustrating. I've been frustrated for over 20 years. So you do learn some things. And strength in numbers, strength in support, critical thinking, variety, to say that no, it's not wrong in science to have a variety of ideas for the same thing. So I hope that helps you in your frustration, all you critical thinkers that see this Nobel Prize as just a popularity contest, money contest, so that if you get it, then you can go on tour and say blah, 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 and everybody has to treat you importantly, even though you've got a Nobel Prize for something that doesn't exist for most likely. But remember what I say, don't take what anyone says on faith, including me. Look at this. Look at all what we're talking about. You want to stay critical, stay thinking. I'm Dave D. Hilster, your science therapist. Ciao for now.